Uranium, an element with 92 protons, 92 electrons, and 140 neutrons to get a symbol of U, and an atomic number of 92. One out of the many elements on the periodic table, and one of the millions of elements that are in the universe. I mean, it's such a big place. There has to be more than just this. So many different, boring elements that it makes you just think, why bother knowing all of these? They're so boring and probably useless. But that's why I'm here, to talk about uranium. Because it's not that boring. Actually, it's kind of cool once you get past all the damage, heat, cancer, and other effects it can have on you. If it wasn't for scientific information telling us how dangerous this stuff is, we'd probably think touching this stuff lets you do something like this. But it'll actually make you look like this at the age of 30, or you'll just die. I guess there's negatives and positives to this element. I mean, getting cancer or not getting superpowers isn't cool. But for some of you people, it'd be a dream to die without having a bullet through your head, or a rope around your head, or anything that damages your head. But for you normal people, don't worry. The only thing hurting your head will be all this knowledge I'm gonna be giving to you. I'll tell you about all the different information about this element, so that the next time you hear anything about elements, you hopefully have a common grasp on, like, one of them. Starting off from the beginning, uranium was supposedly found in 1789 by Martin Heinrich Klaproth around Berlin, Germany, who found it by looking at rocks and named it after Uranus. However, my science teacher told me that it was found in 1897 by a French scientist named Henri Becquerel by leaving it on a photographic plate, which revealed that heat was coming from or out of the rock. So you choose which story you like better. I lean more towards the German guy because Wikipedia has proven to be a reliable source to me. But if you want to believe the French guy, like some dog or rat to the teacher, you can believe that too. Some unique properties of uranium are how it's radioactive and it'll dissolve with contact to non-metals. Most elements don't do this because they don't give off heat. So I guess with having this cool power of heating, it can also be the element's downfall. We're back to the positives and negatives to this element. Something else that's unique is how you can pretty much find uranium in vast amounts of places, like rock, soil, rivers, and even oceans. In fact, uranium is 40 times more common than silver, and over 500 times more common than gold. Who would have thought that an element that's portrayed by the media and the deaths of people, that this stuff is all around us? However, the abundance of uranium is probably less than 0.15% in the whole world. I don't know how that plays out, but I guess it does somehow on Wikipedia. Once we started using uranium greatly, like in the 20th century, it was mostly found in anything called nuclear. So I'm going to use the most common examples with nuclear weapons, nuclear power plants, and nuclear submarines. And I'd say that out of all of these uses, the power plant is the most useful because it's a non-fossil fuel resource. But other than the fact that if you put it in a place of hurricanes and earthquakes, somewhere safe, it should work just fine. Nuclear submarines are pretty cool too because you don't have to stop for fuel. They also carry a nuclear warhead. But I kind of like the non-refueling factor better. The other use is a nuclear warhead, nuclear weapon.
Atom by atom!
Which our most powerful and threatening weapon that we have. Who knew that an element of positives like renewable energy could also have negatives like destroying the entire human race? Oh well. In conclusion, we've covered who or whom discovered uranium. I mean, you gotta give props to that German guy who named a stone that would later be able to kill people. He basically named death after the planet Uranus, the worst name for a planet in our solar system, and he looked at that stone straight in the eye with confidence. I mean, you gotta have some props to that guy. We also went over its uses, which were kinda good, kinda bad, and we also went over some interesting facts. So I hope I've taught you about uranium in a fun and educational way, so that if someone who's like 4 ever asks you something stupid like what's uranium, you can drop a bunch of facts on them and feel smart. And you could also show them this video. That'd make me feel kinda smart. Oh, and before I forget, to get my maximum 100 points, I've also got to tell you a pun, and that is, you go to the doctor's office and he says, "Oh, you swallowed uranium? You'll probably get an atomic ache."